Eritrea. The name itself conjures up images of a nation shrouded in secrecy, a place where information struggles to escape. Often dubbed Africa's North Korea, Eritrea has garnered a reputation for its authoritarian regime, severe restrictions on freedoms, and a pervasive climate of fear. But how accurate is this comparison? Is it fair to paint Eritrea with the same brush as North Korea? Is Eritrea truly a mirror image of the isolated Asian nation? Or are there nuances and historical complexities that set it apart? To understand this, we must delve deeper into the country's unique history and political landscape. This essay delves into the heart of Eritrea's political landscape, examining the factors that have led to its unenviable title. We will explore the iron-fisted rule of President Isaias Afwerki, who has been in power since the country's independence in 1993. The systematic suppression of basic freedoms, including freedom of speech, press, and assembly, and the plight of ordinary Eritreans trapped in a seemingly endless cycle of national service. This mandatory service often extends indefinitely, affecting the lives of countless young people and their families. Through this exploration, we aim to shed light on the realities of life under one of Africa's most repressive regimes. The comparison to North Korea, while tempting in its simplicity, requires careful consideration. Both nations share undeniable similarities in their authoritarian structures, isolationist policies, and blatant disregard for human rights. However, these similarities only scratch the surface. However, Eritrea's unique historical trajectory, shaped by a protracted struggle for independence and a devastating border war with Ethiopia, sets it apart from the Korean Peninsula's Cold War legacy. The scars of these conflicts have deeply influenced Eritrea's current political and social climate. By understanding the complexities of Eritrea's past and present, we can move beyond facile comparisons and engage in a more nuanced discussion about the challenges facing this troubled nation. This deeper understanding is crucial for anyone looking to grasp the full picture of Eritrea's situation. Only then can we begin to grasp the true cost of Eritrea's isolation, both for its people and for the international community. The impact of this isolation is felt not just within its borders, but also in the broader geopolitical landscape. At the heart of Eritrea's authoritarian system stands President Isaias Afwerki, a figure who has dominated the country's political landscape since its independence in 1993. A veteran of the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, Afwerki emerged from the ashes of a 30-year war against Ethiopia as a hero, hailed as the father of the nation. Yet his initial promise of democracy and prosperity soon gave way to a brutal grip on power that has remained unchallenged for over 3 decades. Under Afwerki's rule, Eritrea has effectively become a one-party state. The constitution, ratified in 1997, has never been implemented, and elections remain a distant dream. The promise of a democratic process has been nothing more than a mirage. Political opposition is ruthlessly suppressed, with any dissent met with swift and brutal retribution. Activists, journalists, and ordinary citizens who dare to speak out face imprisonment, torture, or worse. The People's Front for Democracy and Justice, the EPLF's successor, reigns supreme, controlling all aspects of government and society. This party, under Afwerki's iron fist, has ensured that no other political voices can emerge. Afwerki's cult of personality permeates every facet of Eritrean life. His image is omnipresent, a constant reminder of his unyielding control. His portraits adorn public buildings, his pronouncements are treated as gospel, and any criticism of his leadership is met with accusations of treason. The media, tightly controlled by the state, serves as a mouthpiece for his regime. This level of control extends far beyond mere political repression. It reaches into the very fabric of Eritrean society, shaping how people think, speak, and interact with one another. The pervasive atmosphere of fear and suspicion affects every aspect of daily life. The absence of a free press, independent judiciary, or any form of checks and balances has created an environment of fear and self-censorship. The judiciary, meant to be a pillar of justice, is instead a tool of oppression. Citizens dare not voice their opinions, even in private, for fear of being overheard by the regime's vast network of informants. Conversations are held in hushed tones, and trust is a rare commodity. This climate of paranoia has stifled any form of meaningful political discourse, leaving Eritrea trapped in a state of perpetual stagnation. The streets, once filled with the hope of independence, now echo with silence and despair. In Eritrea, information is a tightly controlled commodity. The government, through its iron grip on the media, dictates what citizens can and cannot see, hear, and read. Independent journalism is non-existent, with all media outlets operating under the direct control of the Ministry of Information. Newspapers, radio stations, and television channels function as mouthpieces of the regime, churning out a steady stream of propaganda designed to glorify Afwerki and legitimize his rule. The internet, a potential window to the outside world, is subject to severe restrictions. Access is limited and prohibitively expensive for most Eritreans, with the vast majority relying on government-controlled internet cafes where every keystroke is monitored. Social media platforms are heavily censored, and any attempt to access blocked websites can result in interrogation, detention, or worse. This suffocating control extends beyond traditional media. The regime employs a vast network of informants who keep a watchful eye on citizens' every move. Neighbors are encouraged to report on neighbors, colleagues on colleagues, and even family members on one another. This culture of suspicion and mistrust has eroded the very fabric of Eritrean society, creating a climate of fear where even the most innocuous conversations can be misconstrued as subversive. The consequences of expressing dissenting views can be dire. Journalists who dare to deviate from the official narrative face arbitrary arrest, indefinite detention without trial, and torture. The Committee to Protect Journalists ranks Eritrea as the world's worst jailer of journalists, with numerous reporters languishing in secret prisons, their fates unknown. Section 4. Indefinite service, a nation held hostage. One of the most egregious aspects of Eritrea's repressive regime is its system of indefinite national service, which has been a source of immense suffering for its citizens. Instituted in 1995, ostensibly as a means to rebuild the country following the devastating war with Ethiopia, national service has become a tool for social control and forced labor, far removed from its original purpose. All Eritreans, men and women alike, are required to serve in the military or other government-assigned roles upon reaching the age of 18, with no exceptions. While the official duration of national service is stated to be 18 months, in reality, it is indefinite, with many serving far beyond this period. Conscripts can be forced to serve for years, even decades, with no end in sight, trapped in a cycle of endless service. They are paid a pittance, barely enough to survive, and denied the right to choose their own careers, pursue higher education, or start families, effectively stripping them of their basic human rights. The system effectively holds an entire generation hostage, robbing them of their youth and their futures, leaving them with little hope for a better life. The conditions under which national service is carried out are often appalling, with conscripts living in overcrowded and dilapidated barracks. Conscripts are subjected to harsh discipline, forced labor, and physical and psychological abuse, with little recourse for justice. They are deployed to remote areas, often in dangerous conditions, with little regard for their safety or well-being, further exacerbating their suffering. Escape is nearly impossible, with those caught attempting to flee facing severe punishment, including imprisonment and torture, deterring many from even trying. The indefinite national service system has had a devastating impact on Eritrean society, creating a pervasive climate of fear and uncertainty. It has torn families apart, left classrooms empty, and crippled the economy by depriving it of a skilled and educated workforce, essential for the nation's development. The UN has likened the system to enslavement, citing widespread violations of fundamental human rights, and calling for urgent international intervention to address the plight of the Eritrean people. Section 5. The price of isolation. Eritrea's reputation as a pariah state is further cemented by its self-imposed isolation from the international community. The government, deeply suspicious of foreign influence, has implemented policies that severely restrict interaction with the outside world. Diplomatic relations are limited, foreign aid is shunned, and travel restrictions make it difficult for Eritreans to leave the country and nearly impossible for outsiders to enter. This isolationist stance stems from a complex web of factors. The government's siege mentality, rooted in the long and bloody struggle for independence, fuels a deep distrust of foreign powers. This is compounded by a desire for self-reliance, a belief that Eritrea can chart its own course without interference from external actors. However, the price of this isolation has been steep. Limited foreign investment and trade have hampered economic development, leaving Eritrea heavily reliant on remittances from its diaspora. The lack of engagement with international organizations has hindered access to humanitarian assistance and expertise in key areas such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure development. Moreover, Eritrea's isolation has allowed human rights abuses to continue unchecked. With limited scrutiny from the international community, the regime operates with impunity, silencing dissent and persecuting its critics without fear of repercussions. This lack of accountability has only emboldened the government, further entrenching its authoritarian rule.